Studio 8A. Coverage you can count on in high definition. This is KOMU 8 News at 10.
It's a story nobody ever bothered to follow up on until tonight. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jim Reed.
And I'm Brittany Pieper. In April of 2012, 34-year-old Timothy Simpson died when two officers of the law shot him in a mobile home park near Fulton. Simpson had a gun. Officers felt threatened and then they fired. But there may be more to the story. KOMU 8's Danny Spiewak was the reporter on the scene that day, and a year later, he's digging into exactly what happened.
Well, guys, this is an incredibly difficult story to report on. On one hand, you have officers of the law who have a right to protect themselves. And on the other hand, you've got a grieving family. You've also got a man who didn't live to see the age of 40. And then there are neighbors who found themselves in the thick of a shooting through no fault of their own. The Callaway County prosecutor tells me he's chosen not to file criminal charges against the officers involved. That means every record in this case is now public. And as tricky as this story might be, I looked through the entire investigation and found some information that needs to be shared and some questions that need to be asked.
This is highway patrol video from April 2nd, 2012, the day Timothy Simpson died.
312, 647 advising that the subject is down. They do have EMS en route for him.
Yeah, I've received multiple gunshot wounds. Staff on standby. Go.
On that morning, a state trooper and sheriff's deputy responded to a shots fired call. Simpson had been randomly firing a pistol at the Green Meadows trailer park outside of Fulton. He was a man with a long criminal record, telling witnesses that morning he was ready for a shootout. That put the state trooper on alert.
You know, my anxiety spiked at that point. I was like, this doesn't sound good whatsoever. It's not just somebody going out and happy shooting. He's yelling, hey, call the cops, bring them on up here and let them shoot out.
The standoff began about a minute after officers arrived on the scene.
We understand he had a gun. At one point, we understand he may have been pointed at himself, and then he kind of leveled it off toward officers.
I was the reporter on the scene that day.
And we do know one thing. There were lots of shots fired, lots of them. Just look right here. You can see about a dozen just right here. This is just the back of the house. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 right here. There's 4 more up here.
After they shot him the first time, they should have just stopped and let it go. They didn't have to keep shooting and shooting and shooting and shooting and take his life. That is wrong, and they get away with this.
Prosecuting attorney Chris Wilson wouldn't discuss the specifics of this case because of possible civil litigation, but he sees it differently.
When a law enforcement officer is facing the business end of a handgun, their job is to protect themselves, their fellow officers.
Which is why he's chosen not to file criminal charges against the officers involved. The case is now closed and all investigative records have become publicly available for us to request. We now know the following facts. Officers fired close to 20 times at Simpson, 4 or 5 from the deputy's .40 caliber pistol, and 15 times from the trooper's M16 assault rifle.
Way too many times. It's a military rifle, so you might as well put them in the line of fire and shoot them like a dog, because that's what they did.
For an officer to fire 15 rounds in a shooting with an individual who's armed with a gun is not unusual. In fact, I've interviewed multiple officers who fired more rounds than that.
It's hard to say what a proper number of rounds would be because it depends on the actions of the subject at the time.
Because you've shot the person doesn't mean they're out of commission. You shoot until that threat is over.
But no matter the amount of shots fired, the autopsy shows the kill shot came to the head. 4 shots hit him, meaning the others...
This is some of the bullet holes, as you can see, that still remain after I try to patch them up.
Went into neighboring trailers.
I sleep on my hip, and it would probably got me.
Jason Hazlett wasn't sleeping in his bedroom that morning, and that's a good thing.
This is some of the bullets that went from here, and went out, and went down and struck down 3 trailers.
They went out of the back of his trailer and toward houses with children getting ready for school that morning.
That's a big issue. What if they'd hit somebody else's kid or something like that?
That raises questions about protocol and the use of an assault rifle in a neighborhood with children.
Is there a gun that would be too much to use in a certain situation?
I don't know. I go back to, I'm thinking of what the facts may be in the particular scenario.
There's also the matter of the headshot.
Officers are trained to shoot to stop, not shoot to kill.
What police officers are trained around the country is shoot to center mass.
If you listen to interviews with the deputy and trooper, both say a headshot wasn't intentional.
My field of vision over the top of my rifle was mostly chest, torso. I am still aiming center of his chest.
But if you continue to shoot into those areas and the suspect is still there, officers are trained to then go to the headshot.
The key is, what threat was the officer facing? It's not like television where they can, you often hear people say, well, they could have shot him in the leg or they could have shot him in the hand or something. And that is, that's Hollywood. That's just not reality.
I just think it's wrong, whether it be us or who it be. It don't give you the right to be the judge, jury, and executioner. And they didn't shoot to injure, they shot to kill.
So the moment it started to drop down, I fired. I'm not taking no chances. I must have done the right thing because I had a clear conscience. I didn't second guess anything.
Himself and the deputies fired rounds at the subject. The officers are secure.
The Missouri State Highway Patrol and Callaway County Sheriff's Department declined to discuss this investigation with me.
Danny, thank you very much. A